All right, here we go. All right, so I do not have a camera with me today. And I also did not do any advertising for this live stream, but it is the first time I'm going live in almost a month now. I think YouTube said it was, yeah, I don't know. It's like maybe the 13th was the last time I was supposed to do this. Oh, we'll see though. We'll see. I think it's been about a month. I have no memory of any of this, but we're gonna give it a try. All right, so I'm not really expecting anyone to show up right away. Like I said, there's no advertising for this. But anyway, I'm just talking too much. Let's get started. First things first, I'm going to use a little bit of a reminder. 1 second. All right, so I do have my keyboard set up. Let's give a listen to what I came up with last time we did this. All right, there we go. Oh, hey, here we go. We got someone on the stream. Hey, Luaz, how's it going? Yes, first time in a while. Let's see here. So that's what I came up with last time. I'm starting to remember it now. Right now, where we're at is we're taking these motifs and turning them into full phrases. Let's see here. Let's listen to this one. All right, so we have an E major. Oops, I am on the horns. There we go, that's piano. There we go, proper octave, there we go. I'm working with the 25 key keyboard at the moment, so I have to manually set the octaves. E major to G major. Alright, so I'm thinking, I'm just kind of messing around at this point. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into the feel of it. It's been a while since I've worked on this project. Da, 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 so let's try sequencing it. Sequencing means taking the entire thing and moving it up. However, let's see. So this would actually be a complete sequence or a full sequence. Chromatic sequence, where I take the entire idea and just shift it all by a half step, regardless of whether or not it stays in the key or not. Let's give this a sound, see how it works. All right, for this one, I'm getting a little bit of Marvel vibes. Probably E to B. It's a perfect fifth. It's a very popular interval for heroic things. But I'm thinking, what if we went to E major to G major? And then what if we went back to E major, but this time in an inversion? Lifting that E up. Hey, that's awesome, Luas. I'm glad I'm able to help. That's right, I don't know if the comments are going to be visible or not, but Luas says, big love from Indonesia. Your videos help me a lot. I'm really grateful to be able to be part of so many of you guys' journeys. It's really humbling for me just to know that all this time and effort that I've put into learning this craft is beneficial to other people as well. All right, so here we go. So then what we so I'm wondering, let's see here. I'm almost feeling like there should be a pause. So let's see here. So we have E. So that's a dominant 7. That E with that D at the end makes a dominant 7. We'll see. Now, instead of an E, what if we went to a B? Or a B minor, maybe? We'll see here. Let's try a B minor. Sticking with tertian harmony. We'll We'll see here. Hmm. What if we did, if we held this, let's go back to the E minor first inversion. Let's see here. All right, let's get out of these quarter notes because that's messing up the view, because this is 7/8 time. So let's see how this is set up. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Let's see here. Let's see here. Da-da-da. Then let's see. So if we were to sequence it up, then the E would become an F. I'm sorry, I gotta get used to talking while I'm doing this again. It's been so long. So the E. So if B is sequenced to a C sharp, then the F would be an F sharp. Let's try this. So let's get rid of that chord on it because that's not going to fit there. But let's focus on this melody first. All right, let's try that. So how's this going to sound? It's going to go. Instead of going up with, let's bring that up. So yeah, it's basically back to the full sequence that we did originally, just adding those little connecting notes there. Let's see here. All right, so. All right, so that's a repetition of the same exact idea sequenced. I like it. I think it works. At least for now, when we're trying to crank these things out. I'm finally starting to remember where we're at. All right, so. All right, so, where does it go from here? We've sequenced it, which is a very low level of variation. All right, so it'll be tricky to make sure it doesn't get too boring. So for example, watch this. This entire phrase, if I move it up one whole step, it's the exact same thing that's being played in the next two measures, minus these little two connecting notes. So exact same thing. Now I want to add some variation to it. Let's see. I'm almost kind of getting like an introductory kind of vibe from this, as if it's like the intro to a piece and not the full piece itself. Let's see here. Where to go from here? I'm thinking, so if we want some variation, let's start by copying and pasting the initial idea and seeing how we can add from it from there. What about an inversion? All right, which would be doing things in reverse. So we'll bring this down to make an E. Wait 1 second, let's do this. E, or the D goes there. E goes there. No, C sharp goes there. then E goes there. All right, so this is an inversion. It's a mirror image of what we did previously. Let's get us to listen to this whole thing. Nah, not liking that. Let's see here. You know what? I know why this is giving me Marvel vibes. Bum, bum, ba-da-da. I'm pretty sure that's from Captain Marvel. I think that's an interval used famously by Pinar Toprak for her theme in Captain Marvel. Alright, so I'm starting to blank here. I'm not in the most creative of moods at the moment. But let's see how switching to the horns, don't know why I did that, might be able to help. It's getting a different sound palette. Huh. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling that idea of moving up. So ba 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 da ba 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 da da da. Let's see here. B, C sharp, D sharp. Then we'll do let's see here. Let's give this a listen. Huh, Milos, good idea. So Milos Stojanovic, I'm sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of your last name, is recommending modulation. That might be a good idea as well. So are you thinking of using that as a tool for getting more mileage out of the initial motivic idea, or modulating to a different key to write a different motivic idea or to build on it? I'm not sure. Let's see. That's a good idea. In fact, here's what we're going to do. Muting this, dropping it down. Let's give this a feel. Let's find some chords for these. All right. All right, so we go to the E major to the G major. All right, so we have these. So let's find a chord that works for these. Let's find these strong beats first. All right, so downbeat we have an A, but it's moving quickly. All right, so the A and B move quickly, and the C is held longer than all the others. So C sharp. C sharp here is, I'm thinking, going to be the functioning note. All right, the A is on the downbeat. And the strong beats for 7/8 time can vary. This is something called odd meter. It's a combination of simple and compound meter. Simple meter having 2 subdivisions per beat, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or compound beat having 3 subdivisions per beat, per pulse, I should say. So 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. All right, so 7/8 has 7 eighth notes in it, and those can be divided into 2 groups of 2 and 1 group of 3. All right. Trong sur le rivage says, big love, just keep going. Thank you so much, Chung. I am so sorry if I butchered the pronunciation of your name. I am not good with names, but I really appreciate the support. All right, so let's see here. So C sharp. All right, since we are moving, so E major and G major do not belong in the same key. They just don't. All right, because you'll notice we have both a G sharp and a G. G sharp and G can't exist in the same key. No key can have two versions of the same note. It could have an A flat and a G, technically. That would be a weird key, though. But no, G sharp and G don't exist in the same key, which means this is non-functional harmony, most likely. I mean, there are ways we can make it functional. But I'm thinking that this should be tertiary harmony, if at all possible. So if we go from E major to G major, what chord can give us that C sharp? Ooh. So that would be a B sus2. All right. Or, All right, so a suspended 2 note takes the third scale degree, which in a B minor would be a D. And it replaces it with the second scale degree, which in this case could be a C sharp. All right, it has a deliciously crunchy kind of longing sound to it that wants to resolve by returning to that third. We didn't really go over suspended chords in the harmony series, which I'm kind of kicking myself about that now. I wish I could have covered that. There's so much about harmony that I did not get to cover in that series. There was just so much to include. So I am sure in the near future I'll do a harmony part 2 and start going into more advanced topics like secondary dominance, modulating, all that really fun stuff. Maybe even counterpoint. I'd love to do a series on counterpoint, but my skill set on counterpoint isn't as sturdy or as strong as I'd like it now. Anywho, right now I'm focusing on trying to find out the chords here. So the trick is to find a chord with C sharp or D flat. Let's try that. Let's try that B sus2. So that would be, where's the B? And then I'll bring the F sharp down here, just because it will run into that. Let's see how this sounds. Let's bring that down so it doesn't sound so sudden. All right, so, oops. That's something else that's bothering me a little bit. I'm wondering how this time works for it. These two notes to me sound like they want to be pickups. So I want this to be on the down. So it sounds like this should be a downbeat. But given the time signature we're working at the moment with 7/8 time, it just doesn't work. So actually, I'm wondering, I'm going to mute this and see if we can't come up with a different way it can move. Da-da-da. All right, let's see here. I don't know. I just kind of want, I'm trying to see, how could we make this work? If I just hold it over? Let's give that a try. It'd be really odd. Very odd. But you know what? Maybe not that odd. So what this could be, what's this looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 9. So, we could be working in mixed meter here and make this work. So what is mixed meter? Mixed meter is when you are using multiple time signatures. All right, and this is actually very common in action or like action-oriented cues. And lots of folk music, which a lot of this was initially, now that I'm remembering, supposed to be inspiration of. That's actually why we're in 7/8 the first time, was taking some inspiration from Eastern European folk music. So mixed meter is you take two time signatures and you mix them up. So you got 7/8, 9/8, 7/8, 9/8. Or it could even be 7/8, 9/8, 4/4, 7/8, 9/8, 4/4. Whatever it is, it repeats or frequently shifts. So what if we tried doing some of that? Where we had mixed meter here. So 7/8, a measure of 7/8, measure of 9/8, then going back to that 7/8 again. Let's see here. Let's see here. So then we would try to go F sharp. It wouldn't necessarily be tertiary harmony. Let's give this a try. If we're gonna do it, if we're going out of the key, if we're going weird with our chords, let's just go with it and do a major key chord. No, didn't like that. So why didn't that work? Let's see here, because the C sharp belongs to the chord, F sharp belongs to the chord. Could it just be the movement of the entire chord by a minor second? I think that could just be the chord relationship. All right, two major key triads separated by a minor second is a very exotic sound. All right, it's used in a lot of Western music, as in the genre, as in like cowboys and whatnot. It's used in a lot of like mythical type settings, and it just doesn't fit well with the whole heroic setting here. So it's not floating my boat. So let's just delete the idea. All right. I know I was trying to make it work. I've spent so much time on it already, but hey, Paul, how's it going? Thank you very much. Paul says pro production right here. I appreciate that, man. All right. So let's just continue on. Let's see here. Let's see here. So let's see. We've tried focusing on the melody a little bit, and it's not working too much for me. Let's try focusing instead on the harmony, since this is a bit of a time crunch, all right? I'm trying to see if I can get this in place. So if we go to E major, G major, the next natural step would be B major in a tertian progression. All right, so let's voice lead these a little bit first. Let's bring that down, bring these down, and let's bring that velocity down a bit. So then it goes E major, G major, B major, which would mean the next would be D major would work, because I don't want to do a D sharp major. That's a tricky chord to do. So let's just do a D major. All right, let's bring that down. So now we have 4 chords, enough for a short phrase. So let's see how we could sequence it to work. Because I did like the sequencing. I did. So let's see how it works though here. So instead of going to a C sharp, what if we sequenced it even higher and went to a D sharp? And then it won't be a chromatic sequence this time. We want to find something that actually fits a little bit better with the chord than that G sharp. So B, and A is part of a B dominant 7. An A sharp or B flat is part of a B major 7. So let's try both of those. Let's try the A and then let's try the B. Don't like that. Let's see here. Okay, so Milo says there is potential modulation to the A scale. Good point. Let's see here. But my question would be, would it be appropriate to modulate so quickly from like the first, like after just 2 measures, which I imagine, of course, be appropriate, but let's see. Let's give this a quick listen to though. Don't like that, so let's just commit and go to the B. And of course, a D sharp needs to switch to a D because the D is in the underlying chord. And a D to D sharp or E flat, since they are in harmonics, is just a minor second apart. It's a half step, and that is an entirely very dissonant, very crunchy, very dissonant sound that I'm not really looking for in a Heroes theme. All right, we're finally getting somewhere. All right, let's give this a listen to the full thing. All right, so now it's time to, you know what? I think this motif is just kind of working as a very simple idea. Let's try doing, let's try Milos' idea. Let's try modulating. Let's repeat the entire thing, but modulate it. Now the question is, do we want to do some fancy trick for modulation? So we got the D. All right, D could potentially be used to modulate 2G. All right, so let's actually, let's try that actually. Let's try taking, first we'll take that D major and turn it into a D dominant 7. And then we will just take this entire thing, copy and paste it, and we're gonna just move it up until this first chord is a G major. Then we will simply voice lead to make it work a bit better. All right, I'm gonna delete. Let's see, what chord is this? F. So that's an F dominant 7. So let's delete the E flat there and move that. Let's give this a listen. So this is going to be a very sudden, hastily prepared modulation, and I'll explain why this modulation works in a minute. But let's see. That C, I'm not liking that C, but so we'll take that out. Let's take that C and make just more stepwise movement. All right, yeah, it's nothing special, but there's a certain grace in super simple ideas. It brings a lot more importance to the orchestration and the development of a simple idea. Hans Zimmer is an example of a composer who thrives with incredibly simple ideas. I mean, his Batman theme is 2 notes. His Joker's theme is 1 note. The entire Interstellar soundtrack is very simple. But the ability he has, that craft to just take a simple idea and extrapolate it, just morph it into these huge okay, I'm gonna start geeking out about this, but I've been listening to a lot of Hans Zimmer lately, just being fully honest, and just it amazes me the more and more I listen to it, just that way he takes such simple ideas and turns them into these massive, intricate statements. Let's give this one last listen to, and then I think I'll move on to the next one, just because we have so many of these we need to crank through. They don't all need to be perfect. And before I do that, I'll actually explain that modulation trick earlier. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change this measure right here. So let's actually take the D and F and swatch spots. Let's see that works. Let's try that. G sharp, a nice minor to a half step away from A. All right, I think it works. All right, it's good enough, and that's what we're looking for here. We've got a lot of these that we need to develop. First, let's open this and talk about that modulation trick. All right, so let's just do this. All right, so first things first, I'm going to show you something. We're going to do a G, B, D, and F. This is, let's get a closer look here, a G diminished 7. That is a very unstable sound, all right? And it wants to resolve to C major. Now, why does this particular chord want to resolve to C major? Well, if you look, we'll mute these two. The B and F form a tritone, which if you watch the most recent harmony, or one of the more recent harmony videos, I think it was the bass line video, yeah, the bass video. No, part writing. Yes, we discussed dissonance in the part writing video. The tritone is a very, very dissonant sound. And in this sound, it wants to resolve. Now, the fastest way for these notes to resolve is a B is only a half step away from C. So that's the fastest way to resolve that, is to move from a B to a C. Where the fastest way to resolve an F within key is moving to an E. Both of these notes are half steps away. In fact, they are the only notes in the major scale that are a half step apart from each other. B to C in the C major scale and E to F in the C major scale are half steps apart, and they're the only notes half steps apart in naturally occurring within a major scale. So what happens here is this B resolves to the C, the F resolves to the E, and the G stays in a common tone. So what we get is resolution. All right, naturally occurring. Now, why is this useful for modulation? So you could use this to emphasize another chord. Let's say we're doing a chord progression in C major. We're doing, let's see, C major. Then we go to F major. All right, let's see here. Then we don't want to go straight to G major, but we want to emphasize G major. What we can do is find, well, first we'll say we want to resolve to G major. We want to give G major a little bit of extra strength, a little extra weight. Well, we can find the fifth of G major. I'm going to move that up so it's in root position. What is the fifth of G major? It's the D. And if you've been following the harmony series, you'll understand why that's the fifth and not the third. What we can do is we can take that fifth pitch and we can build a dominant 7 out of it, which all this is it's a major chord. And then we add a minor third on top. So 1, 2, 3. Why it's called the dominant 7? That's a major key, a major triad with a minor 7. All right, so the D to C is a minor 7. So it's a major triad with a minor 7th interval added, which that's also where all the other chords get. A minor triad has a minor 7th has a minor triad with a minor 7th. A major 7th has a major triad with a major 7th. You get the idea. So what we can do here is this dominant 7 is going to lead us into the G major. So we have C major going into F major. Then we have the D dominant 7. And then it resolves into the G major. All right? Listen to that. All right? So this is obviously modulating outside. It's borrowing a chord in order to do this. This is called a secondary dominant because it is a dominant chord to the target chord. All right, so it doesn't belong to the key. Its sole purpose is to give more momentum into this one. Now, this can also be used for modulation. If I wanted to, so much weight has gone into G major that now I can just stay in the key of G major if I wanted to. And that's kind of what I've done in that last piece. Let's see. Time has 5 chords. Yes, Milos. Milos mentions that Hans Zimmer's piece Time only has 5 chords, which is incredible. Milos also says, can you do videos about Howard Shore's harmony in Lord of the Rings? Thank you. I would love to do Howard Shore's music. That is actually another one of the, it's one of the, there's a huge list of composers I want to study. I want to do Hiroyuki Sawano, who does the Attack on Titan, except for the last season, and Yamamoto Hamada, I think is the name of the composer who did the 4th season. It's been incredible so far. I love his music for, especially the piece Across the Sea, I believe it's called. I want to do him. I would love to do Hans Zimmer and John Williams, of course. Also John Powell. And there's just, there are so many composers that I really wanted to dive into. The main issue why I can't do it yet is just, number one, scores cost money. Especially film scores cost a lot of money. Howard Shore's scores for Lord of the Rings are ridiculously expensive, so I've got to be able to make sure that I'm in a financial place where I can purchase those and still pay my bills. The next thing is they take a lot of time and effort. So for the Hisaishi series, when I did that one, that took months of my life, studying those scores, breaking them down, and doing the analysis and the approach that I take to it. And I learned a lot of it, and it's worth it. Definitely worth it. But unfortunately, it's something that I need to make sure I have the time for. So right now, I think I'm focusing on getting a couple different projects up in the air. But I would definitely love to do it. The moment I can do it, and the moment I can afford to do it in both time and money, you better believe I will be studying those scores like crazy and sharing everything that I learn. Because, I mean, there's no use in hoarding knowledge. I mean, what, you think learning something is going to make you more special than everybody else? No. It's like one of the most beautiful things I found about sharing this stuff on YouTube is the feedback and ideas that I get from you guys. It makes it so... you see things that I would never have seen. You hear things I never would have heard, and you have ideas that I never would have come up with. And that's incredible. It helps me to learn. It helps me to build and grow as a composer and a teacher. And so, yeah, everything I ever learn, I'm going to share with you guys in terms of like scores and everything. So that is definitely on the to-do list as soon as I possibly can. But let's see, where was I? We were talking about, we had that impromptu harmony lesson. No, yeah, modulation is a topic that I wish I had had more time to discuss in the harmony series. And I guess there's no real reason why I couldn't have talked about it. But for my focus with the harmony series is I wanted to provide a foundation of the bare basics. There's a lot of stuff out there that can help you learn harmony, but especially when I was starting out and teaching myself all of this stuff, that was the most frustrating aspect of it, was trying to figure out how harmony works, how to use it to write chord progressions dependently, and how to find the right musical language to support the harmonies and the melodies I was writing. And so that's what I focused on for this first one, was just the bare basics. Like I said, I do have plans to eventually revisit and build a Harmony Part 2 series. Right now the plan is melody. I want to focus on melody. After that, I want to redo my orchestration series because my orchestration videos are pretty bad audio quality. And I've learned new stuff since then, so I'd like to share that. Another thing that I'm working on, I just finished writing a book, actually, at the moment, that I'm really excited to start making videos based on. And getting edited and hopefully getting published, about storytelling in music. So I go through the 9 parameters of music that I've advocated on this channel. I talk about how each one is uniquely used to tell stories. And then I share a couple tools for pulling musical inspiration from characters, from the story world, and the emotions, because those tend to be the three big sources of inspiration for media music, is writing themes for the world, writing themes for the characters, and coloring themes with emotion. And I take an approach to writing music for emotions that's very different than what a lot of people might come up with. I've learned templates. I've learned templates for writing love songs. I've learned templates for writing action cues, for writing sad songs, for writing even like magical things. And the templates are helpful. Templates are definitely have their place, definitely. But I find that emotions, especially if you want to get nuanced, don't work well with templates. And it's better to try and get a deep and functioning understanding of the emotion itself, and using that to inspire what your music should sound like, rather than saying, all right, sad scene, this is what it needs to sound like. No, like the love scenes don't need to all have violins. The sad scenes don't all need to be an adagio for strings. There's so much more that you can learn and develop by just having an understanding of emotion in general. So that's the kind of stuff I've been writing about lately, and I want to make videos on those topics pretty soon. Josh says, what kind of music do you want to compose for? Is it like, for example, for an anime video game music? All right, I would love to write for an anime. I have no idea how I'd even get involved with that. But anime music is what got me excited for all this stuff. I grew up watching Naruto, and that stuff slaps. That music, oh my word. From my early days having an MP3 player, I would pirate that music. I would take it from YouTube videos and put it on an MP3 player and listen to it on my paper route as a kid. No, yeah, I would love to do an anime. I have no idea how to get started for it, but for me, my main goal in music storytelling is music storytelling. Like I just said, I love to tell stories. So whether that's in video games, in movies, in TV shows, and animes, I just want to be part of that kind of stuff. I want to be able to tell stories with my music. Oh, yes, and Josh says, yeah, you're writing a book? Yes, I am. It's a short book. I just finished it. It's about 50 pages in a Word document at the moment. But I'm going to be sharing it with a professor of mine at Berkeley who works at the publishing office to get any pointers on adjusting it, things like that. It's not so much a how-to. It's not like the Harmony series I did, where it's about music theory. It's a lot more about the approach and craft to composition, for storytelling. And I already talked about this, but yeah, talking about how the different parameters of your music can be used, like what is tempo specifically used for storytelling. And the tempo is overlooked a lot. Tempo has a tremendous role in storytelling. I mean, just think about its impact on your emotions. Our bodies are conditioned to correlate emotion with tempo. Like when you get angry, your heart rate goes up. When you're relaxed and happy, it comes down. Your emotions impact your heart rate, and we see heart rate as an intrinsic tempo of life. And so tempo can be reflected in that in your music, and beyond that, lots of people confuse tempo, thinking that it's just BPM, it's just beats per minute, when in reality there are two components. There's beats per minute and pulse, and they're not always the same thing. 7/8 time is a very good example. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 beats, all right? But the pulse is not of 7 pulses. It's 3 pulses. A pulse is basically the way you feel a beat. So if beats per minute is the mathematical expression of a tempo, a pulse is the translated feeling of it. So in 7/8 time, we don't count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We count these as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Whatever you want to do, we've talked about this a couple times, where it integrates, it switches however you want it to, but that pulse is always in 3. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and kind of thing. It's a pulse. And the way that different instruments translate that pulse can have a huge impact. And thanks, Josh. Yeah, Josh says that he thinks the idea of the book sounds great. And at this point, I'm plugging myself. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But this is actually kind of nice. If you guys like this kind of just like free talk, and let me know. I'm supposed to be focusing on the music here. So let's turn back to here for a moment and see if we can't crank out another phrase before the end of the video. All right, so that's right. We are still in the E major to G major, which again to me is screaming tertiary harmony. So let's see here. All right, now this one is starting to remind me of the Danny Elfman score for Spider-Man. Can't remember exactly how it goes, but I'm getting some vibes from it. So now let's try. We've got this idea here. Ba 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 da ba ba ba. Please forgive my totally out of tune singing. Ba, ba, da, da, da. So let's try. We've got a couple different motifs if we wanted here. We've got the, and then we've got the. Let's see if You know what? First, let's not fall into this trap. The last several motifs, I think I've tried developing the melody first, and that hasn't worked out well for me for whatever reason. For this piece, I just seem to be working best with harmonies first. So let's figure out what harmony we want to go with. So let's try here. So E major to G major. All right, so what we're doing here, let's do a B major, because that's what we did last time anyways. B major. Put that down. Let's see here. Yeah, awesome. Yes. Hey, Seiji. Seiji says hello. Thanks for joining. I hope I didn't butcher your name too badly. Yes, I do think I like the chatting and composing as well. Unfortunately for my brain, I don't work too well at double tasking, or multitasking, I should say. So I find it difficult to both make decisions as a composing while talking. But I can try. I'll do my best. So we got E major, G major, to B major. Then why not? It worked last time. I like this chord progression. And then we probably won't modulate this time. So let's listen to this. And then I'm thinking, we'll go here. So let's see. So we have a D major, so E major to a D major. So that's down a half step. Let's try that, and then we'll put in some filler in this measure. Let's try. No, that would be too high. Although, maybe we don't try sticking to the fifth. Even though we started with the fifth and E major, we went from the fifth to the third. What if we tried the third to the tonic? So that would be from F sharp to D. We'd have to change a couple things, like the D sharp has to become a D. Let's try that. All right, that's working. Although G sharp to B is well above an octave, and you know me, I like to stick to octaves with my keys. But Milos, I think chord is 1 major to flat 5 major. Let's see, where are you talking about that? So 1 major, major 1 to flat major. Yeah, so to the G. Yep. So E major to G major. Yes, that would technically be a 1 major to a flat 5 major if we wanted to keep within functional harmony. Now, tertiary harmony doesn't really lead itself to functional harmony. Tertiary harmony, by definition, is a non-functional harmony, so it doesn't typically work well to try and use traditional analysis for it. I mean, it's not. You could definitely go for that. Of course, there's always a way to analyze music. But with tertiary harmony, it can get pretty complicated. So instead of trying to go from the major 1 to the flat 5 major, or the major flat 5, if you want to say it, we can just think of it as tertiary harmony or chromatic medians. So E major to G major are both major triads separated by a third. Moving to a B major is another major triad separated by a third. And then moving to a D major is another major triad separated by a third. This is a very common approach to harmony in film music and game music in particular. It was first made popular by Bernard Herrmann. He wasn't the first one to invent it. Bernard Herrmann was a film composer who did a lot of work with Alfred Hitchcock. I believe he was the composer for the movie Psycho with those iconic violin hits. He popularized tertiary harmony as a way to still provide a dramatic flair and some cohesiveness to the harmony while also getting a bit more of an exotic sound, something that's not as common to what we're used to in Western music. I wouldn't even know where to look for who was the composer to invent tertiary harmony. I don't think it's something that could be invented. Definitely, I think in Western music, it would have had to come after the Baroque period. I would say probably, if I had to guess, somewhere around the Romantic era to the modernist, postmodernist movement. I don't know. Somewhere around there is where I would go, because otherwise, in most classical functional approaches to harmony, this is atrocious. But yeah, I don't know. I love music history. I have spent an ungodly amount of hours listening to podcasts, listening to lectures. Ooh, if you're ever looking for an amazing lecture series on the history of music, Audibles has an incredible one from the Great Courses Company called How to Listen to and Understand Great Music. It's, I believe the professor who does it is Professor Robert Greenberg out of, I think he's from UC Berkeley, somewhere around there in California. Brilliant composer and teacher, and he discusses just the history of music, going all the way from the earliest prehistory we can find, all the way to more modern approaches. He's got a great series on symphonies. I'm listening to a series on opera. I just love it. He's a very engaging teacher and inspires a lot of the approaches I take to teaching. But here we go in. I am on another tangent. This is why these videos take so long and these motifs take so long, as I get on tangents. All right, but let's see here. So we've got this one. All right, so it's pretty much rote repetition. It's been sequenced, but I don't like the distance here from G sharp to B. It doesn't make it very singable. It's like bum, bum. Yeah, it's too far. All right. Now what is that? That is an octave plus a major second. So I guess it's still around a 12th, or no, an octave plus a minor third. So yeah, it's past my 12th. I don't like to go larger than a 12th. So let's see. So what if we usurp expectations and come down to the E? So yeah, C sharp, then D. Hey, how's it going, Frank here? I hope I pronounced that right. Frank here says hi. Let's see here. Let's give this a quick listen to. Let's go back to the E. I like that. That's good. I think that works. We'll come back to this. We'll add some filler in here. Somehow we'll bridge the two and make it work. But let's see. E to C sharp. To me, that is screaming A major. It's technically not tertiary harmony. But let's see how it sounds. What would that be? A D major to a C major. There's still a common tone, so the transition shouldn't be too harsh. Let's try this. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I like that. All right. All right, so now we've got just a few more measures to go back. Let's listen to the whole thing. It works. I am going to switch things up. Instead of going 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 for this measure, I'm going to 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. So it goes, makes it a little less syncopated. Instead of ba 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 da da ba da da, which is a little bit more expected. The 7/8 time. I'm really not doing a lot to make this 7/8 shine, am I? There's so much that you can do with 7/8 time. A cool thing about 7/8 time, because it has 7 beats instead of 8 beats, one thing it does to great effect is it sounds like the first beat of the next measure should be the last beat of the first. So how do I explain this? It was just a great effect, I believe, although that was 11/8 time. 11/8 time, which is a similar type of time signature, was used in Death Note. For L's theme, I believe it was, and it created an incredible forward momentum, because if you're used to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, started using a meter that would technically have the feel of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now that 1 comes in right after that 4. Feels like that 1 should actually be an and. It should be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1. See how it has that momentum? And 7/8 time is perfect for that. We're not really using that here though. Not yet. I think once I have the idea more beyond just melodies and chords, once we have decided what theme we're officially going with for these characters, then it'll be time to really take advantage of all this cool stuff that we could be doing. Let's see here. I'm liking this jump. Let's try to E to B. So bring that C down to B. And then we'll go to and then we'll do one of these things. We'll copy over here, bring it down to C sharp and C. So kind of combine the two ideas. How does this sound? Let's try cutting this. No, I don't like that. Let's see here. Let's try just deleting it. Lengthening that. Let's try doing the 3 there. Hold it to emphasize it a bit more before we resolve. There we go. I think that sounds better. Let's list the whole thing. Josh says, Death Note analysis next time. It would be a short video. Yes, for L's theme. Ooh, that would be really cool. There's actually already a really good analysis for L's theme. I'm blanking on who did it. I saw this years ago. I think like 2 years ago is when I watched it. I can remember where I was when I was watching the film. I was trying to get to bed, couldn't fall asleep, and so I pulled it up because I was obsessed with the soundtrack for some reason at the time. But yes, I would absolutely love to do more analysis videos. Like I said earlier in this video, though, there's just so much effort that goes into those. There's so much time, so much money that goes into analyzing this. Well, the Death Note one probably wouldn't be too bad, but because there's so much that you can find for like fan videos out there already. But I don't want to rip off someone else's video. We'll see. One thing that I've been toying with the idea of is I've got to figure out how to do it. I've got a Discord channel for the patrons, and I got to figure out how to use it a bit better. I'm thinking about just making it public to everybody and having like a private one for the patrons. But I've heard that you can do like watch parties on Discord. I don't know how that works yet. I am, other than like my music software, I am very technologically illiterate. I would love to do a watch party of just some of my favorite movies in terms of like their scores and just like talk about everything I see in the everything I hear in the music, other things, and then of course to pick your brains and see what everybody else sees. A score I have been absolutely obsessed with lately, two actually that I've been obsessed with, is the Hans Zimmer's score to At World's End. It just I've rewatched it multiple times. So one of the last movies I watched with my abuelita before she passed, because I used to take care of her every Sunday. We always watched movies together. She had dementia, so she couldn't follow stories, so I always found movies that had really big like special effects and huge scenes because she loved that stuff. She couldn't make sense of a story, but she could see action sequences, she could see CGI, and she just thought it was the coolest thing. So one of the last movies I watched with her was At World's End, and I was just geeking out over that score. There's just such a great payoff. There's so much beautiful music. One of my favorite pieces at Wit's End is a scene when they're traveling to Davy Jones' locker, and there's that beautiful cinematography of the ship and the ice, and that massive climactic moment comes in the strings. Oh, chills. Then later in the movie, during the huge climactic fight, there are just so many themes coming in and out of the score that have been built up across all three movies at that point. And the payoff for it is just so amazing. The way that Hans Zimmer moves fluidly from one idea into the next. It's just a masterclass is what it is. It's a masterclass on how to use themes in films. It's beautiful. I would love to watch that movies with you guys. I don't have enough people to geek out about with this stuff in my life. I've got wonderful, wonderful friends, amazing family. I'm incredibly grateful for all of them. But lots of them, when they sit down to watch a movie, they're not sitting there to listen to me geek out about the things I hear in the music or the different themes or stuff I notice. Major 4 in minor and minor 4 in major is a very powerful chord. Milos, yes, very true. Yes, the major 4 in a minor key, so borrowing that major. So going from the A minor, that's actually one of my favorite chordal relationships of all time. It's from the Dorian. All right, I'm sorry. I feel like I switched topics very suddenly. One minute I was talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. Now I'm talking about geeking out about more chord theory with Milos, my buddy over here. So all that. The movie's amazing. I recommend it. I want to find a way to see if we could get past any legality of live streaming those together on Discord. But yes, back to Milos. So the major 4 in a minor scale is one of my favorite all-time chordal relationships. It's just it chills every time. It's a feeling of not quite nostalgia. I use that to describe too many things, but almost like a melancholic whimsy. All right, like there's something fantastical coming. I remember one of the very first projects I ever worked on, I think it was back in 2019, was scoring Danny and the Wild Bunch, which is actually the short film I used a scene from my film scoring scene video a while back ago. When I did that, I had no idea what I was doing with music theory. I was just slapping whatever I thought sounded good. I mean, there's still things I'm proud about. Like I took a rhythmic figure there's a danger scene in there, and I took a rhythmic figure. I looked at Morse code and found out how you do like SOS or like help us in Morse code, and I used that as the rhythmic foundation for that danger scene. I still kind of like the effect it came out with, but a lot of that score was focused around this relationship of A minor to D major, or that relationship of the minor 1, major 4, taken from the Dorian mode. And then he says the minor 4 in major is very powerful as well, and that is also very true. A major triad to a minor triad, a perfect fourth apart, is a very powerful. It's a very dark, very ominous sound, going from that major triad to a minor triad, separated by a perfect fourth. Both of those are incredible sounds, and I love those sounds. I don't think they would be very appropriate for this particular theme, though, since not yet. I do think I'm going to use those. Because, again, I am, 9 videos into this series right now, and I'm already gone over an hour. I've been going too long for this. I have company coming over soon. I'm supposed to get the house ready. But after I've written the primary theme for these characters, the next step in this series is to rearrange it, to take that theme and put it into different settings. Take that theme and make it into a battle theme. Take that theme and turn it into a sad, like heartbreak theme. All these different things. I'm super excited about that because that is so much easier. Once you have a basic idea, rearranging it is so much easier, especially when you're trying to talk to a bunch of people while you're composing. That adds another dynamic to the whole thing. But let's see here. You know what? It's been over an hour at this point. I don't think I'm going to finish this motif today. We'll come back to it for the next week's video. A couple announcements I'm going to make before I just kind of chat with you guys until everybody's ready to go. So I am, next week, keeping with tradition, we have ended a complete series. So next week's video is going to be a question and answer video. So if you have any questions, please add them to, I'm going to make a post soon on YouTube. So please send them to me to there. You can email them to me at tabletopcomposer@gmail.com. Tabletopcomposer@gmail.com. You can also send them to me on Instagram, or just post them in the comments on the post I'm about to make on YouTube. Any questions you have at all, I would love to answer or do my best to try and answer them. But yeah, after that, I'm gonna see. I want to try. I'm writing that book I mentioned, so keep an eye out for that. I'm super excited for that, and I want to start making videos off of that because I do want to make sure. I don't believe in trying to hide information for hire, or like you have to pay to learn. Just because I've been blessed by so much generosity on YouTube by other composers, other music teachers that have taught me so much. I want to make sure that I'm providing stuff for you guys as well. So I will be putting out videos of the topics, but the book itself will be for sale moment. I'm working on beefing up my website. So once the website is launched, that's where you can find the book. But yeah, other than that, I think that covers everything I was going to announce today. Yeah, if anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to ask them now. I'll stay on for a few more minutes. But other than that, I do have company coming over in like 10 minutes, and I have a house I got to clean. So, but yes, all right. So Milos is taking off. Thank you, Milos, for your wonderful suggestions. All right, have a great one. And Josh Sanchez, what anime do you watch, and why is JoJo your favorite? All right, I've actually never seen JoJo. I've heard great things about it. I've seen the memes, but I haven't seen it. I actually, yeah, I might have what you call basic taste in anime. I got started with Death Note. My cousin in Japan got me started on Death Note. Then I got onto Naruto by my friend, who's actually my roommate right now. I love My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan. I've seen Full Metal Alchemist, both the original with a terrible ending and Brotherhood, which redeemed it. I've seen Demon Slayer is amazing. There's man, I'm blanking on a lot of it. Of course, all the Studio Ghibli films. And yes, it is pronounced Ghibli, or at least that's how I'm gonna. I know I got a lot of flack on that on one of my videos, but the Ghibli is taken from the Italian plane, the Ghibli. So I'm just gonna call it Ghibli. That's what they called it in Tokyo when I visited. So I'm just gonna go with Ghibli. But yeah, I have not seen JoJo yet, but I'm always up for trying new things, especially when I hear the music is amazing. That's honestly how I get into half the anime I watch, is I hear that either the story is amazing, because I'm a sucker for an amazing story, or that the music is amazing, because of course I am a sucker for incredible music. Well, with that, yeah, nice talking with you, Josh. Have a good one. I'll stay on for a few more seconds. If anyone's got more questions, feel free to share them. If not, I am going to take off. Grab a drink. I've got a thing of water next to me. Actually, you know what? My friend is calling, the one who's visiting. He's calling now. That's perfect timing. So I'm going to let you all go. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. All right, it's amazing, as always, to talk with all of you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.